To review what we've learned so far, let's take a look at some actual examples to see if you can pinpoint the hazard. What do you see here? This picture shows a footing which is exposed. All anchoring devices for playground equipment such as concrete footings should be installed below ground level to eliminate the hazard of tripping. This will also prevent children who may fall from sustaining additional injuries due to exposed footings. What do you see here? This picture shows potential sharp corners and edges on a swing seat hanger. This type of swing seat attachment over time can develop sharp corners and edges. The constant pressure of the seat against the attachment bar causes the thinner metal edges of the seat fasteners to roll up and become sharp. To minimize this hazard, routine inspections should be diligent in examining the attachment areas. Replacements should be made where there are any sharp edges. What about on this play structure? Did you notice the protrusion test gauge on the left side? The left side picture shows a protrusion hazard located on the composite structure where the handrails attach to the structure. This situation can be corrected by replacing the plastic cap with a shorter one so it fits under the test gauge. On the right side of the picture, we see a wasp nest located underneath the composite structure. To correct this situation, remove the wasp nest immediately and ensure the inspection process covers underneath the play structures. This picture looks familiar. Do you remember the hazard shown here? This slide demonstrates an entrapment on a composite structure. A solution for this particular problem would necessitate contacting the vendor or the installer. How many hazards can you find on this slide? One hazard is the lack of soft surfacing under the swing and slide. In addition, the tape measure located in the center of the slide references the concern of an inappropriate fall zone for the swing. You also see the remnants of a teeter-totter in front of the swing. In order to remedy this situation, you would have to add soft surfacing under both the swing and slide and remove the remnants of the teeter-totter from the fall zone of the swing. Do you recognize this hazard? This slide demonstrates a special protrusion hazard in an overhead climbing ladder. Anytime the diameter of a protrusion increases as you move away from the initial surface, the potential for a hook-like effect occurs. This protrusion fails the protrusion hazard test because it causes a hook-like effect that may entangle children's clothing. Now that you understand how to evaluate and eliminate potential hazards, let's take a look at how to implement a playground safety program. A playground safety program must be comprehensive and consistent. A comprehensive system should include developing an inventory, conducting an audit, performing an inspection, and creating a master file. Let's take a look at developing an inventory. The first step in developing an inventory is draw a simple map of your playground. It does not have to be great artwork, it only has to show the location of your playground equipment. The next step is to list the manufacturer's name and address of each piece of equipment on your playground. Gather all of the corresponding materials provided by the manufacturer and make certain that you have the installation and assembly verification for each piece of equipment. If you do not, contact the manufacturer or a qualified playground safety inspector and document that your equipment has been documented properly. Record the age of each piece of equipment, the depth and type of surfacing used around the equipment, the critical height of each piece of equipment, and the age of intended users. As I mentioned earlier, the map of your playground does not have to be a masterpiece. It only needs to show the basic location of your playground equipment. Remember to update your map when new equipment is added or old equipment is removed. Proper installation and assembly is critical in maintaining stability and integrity of playground structures. Make sure you anchor all play equipment to the manufacturer's specifications. Have a manufacturer's representative or a person qualified to inspect playgrounds verify and document that the equipment was assembled and installed properly. Equipment not installed or assembled properly is not safe. The second step in implementing a safety program is the audit. The safety audit is a detailed examination of each individual play component as well as the whole play area. The audit consists of 3 elements: test, evaluate, and repair. Using your probes, gauges, hands, and eyes, examine each piece of the equipment for general hazards, entrapment hazards, and entanglement hazards. Because you already determined the critical height of each piece of play equipment when you developed your inventory, you only have to measure the depth of your surfacing and the fall zone of your surfacing. Measure the surfacing depth at several places around the play piece. Take special care to examine high traffic areas such as entry and exit points. Your audit form will also remind you to examine specific pieces of equipment such as the seats of swings and play pieces requiring protective barriers and guardrails. Check the height of existing barriers and guardrails to ensure they comply with recommendations. Be sure to make a note of those play pieces that need a barrier or guardrail but currently do not have one. Once you have thoroughly examined every part of the playground and documented any hazards, it's time to evaluate the severity of each hazard. Use the criteria on your audit form. Determine whether the level of each hazard is high, medium, or low. If the hazard is life or limb threatening, record it as a high-level hazard. If the hazard could cause significant injury but is not life or limb threatening, record it as a medium-level hazard. If the hazard could cause a minor injury, record it as a low-level hazard. Now it's time to get to work on repairs. Any high level of hazard must be removed from play immediately. Contact the equipment manufacturer and your NC DCD-EE consultant. If you are unable to retrofit or repair the equipment, you should remove it from your playground permanently. A medium or low level hazard should also be removed from play. It should be repaired, retrofitted, fitted, or replaced as soon as your budget will allow. Only after it is repaired should the play piece be used again. We should take a moment and recommend that child care providers should always contact and consult with the equipment manufacturer before any retrofits or repairs are made on any equipment. This is another reason to collect equipment manufacturer contact information during the inventory phase of the playground safety program. Once you've completed your inventory and audit and made any necessary changes and repairs to your playground should be much safer. However, to keep it free from hazard, regular inspections must be performed to check the condition of the playground and equipment. When performing inspections, use a checklist. Incorporate manufacturer's suggested maintenance into routine inspections. Remember, inspections must be hands-on. If necessary, initiate the repair process as soon as you discover the hazard. Finally, if broken equipment is discovered, remove it from the play area immediately. Documentation is important for protecting yourself in the event that a mishap may occur on your playground. You would want to have proof that you have established and currently follow a playground safety program. Your master file is where you will keep your completed inventory forms, audit information, dated inspection forms, and manufacturer material. Additionally, each time a member of your staff receives playground safety training, including the NC DCDEE required 4-hour program, like we're doing here today. This should be recorded and placed in the master file. Playground incident reports required by NC DCDEE and any follow-up related to an accident should also be kept in the master file. Keep in mind your master file will be an active file, meaning you will continually update and add information to it. Items that may be added to the file include inventory updates, audit forms, NC DCDEE required monthly inspection reports, incident reports, and training documentation. Remember that weekly inspections must also be conducted for resiliency of surfacing, as well as daily inspections for broken equipment, debris, and vandalism. Okay, here's my first soapbox. You should operate under the principle that if it has not been documented in the master file, it has not been done.